Oh, hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Yeah.
So, what was your childhood like in St. Lucia?
Oh, I was born in a very small island named St. Lucia. In the Patois word, we say Saint Lucie. And my childhood was a great one. Although we were poor people, we had the love of our family, our parents. We only had everything we needed, but not money. We didn't have the money.
So, what was your favorite holiday when you was a child?
Well, in St. Lucia, we didn't have a holiday really, not a proper holiday. But what we did have, we had the lovely beaches and we made the most of them. Every weekend, we used to go to the seaside, cook food, and of course, always had a bottle of white rum somewhere in the basket. So
Also, who drank rum in your family?
my father did. But the first time I remember seeing what rum could do to the family was when he did it. He brought the rum home, but also he was a person who would do anything, and mostly for his family. We had bees, and he collected honey. Next to the kitchen, we had a big lemon tree. The lemons were so big, we thought they were oranges. But it's just recently I found out it were not oranges, but lemon.
Recently? How recently?
Yeah, when I was watching one of the shows, the chef shows, one of the chefs were
Oh.
getting this. In fact, it was Ainsley, the Black Caribbean guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was collecting these to make the punch, rum punch. And my dad used to get the honey and then he would bottle the honey, the good bits, and what was left, he would make a rum punch. And that's the first time we drank rum. We never knew it was rum until everybody was happy.
My next question was, when did you first become aware of rum?
Well, I've answered that one, yeah. That was the first time.
But like, round about like what age?
Probably 9, 10.
10 years old drinking
Yeah.
rum.
Well, you didn't know it was rum.
You just felt happy.
Yeah, because it was nice and sweet with honey.
So, what was the most trouble you ever gotten yourself in?
The most trouble I can remember ever getting into was grandmother sent me to buy fish in the market. And the market, I did not want to go to the market. So I would say, yes, mommy, and I'd take the money and the bowl and went and instead of going to the market, I go up. There was somewhere else. It was in the middle of the town. We had a big statue of Christ. And I used to go and sit next to the statue and waited for a time. And then I come back home. Then I tell mommy there's no fish. I said, I didn't get any. That was a lie, so I shouldn't. And in those days, a lie was like a major crime to my grandmother. So she then got so upset, called my parents, and then mom and my dad said they'd take me up to the countryside for a couple of weeks. It was the most pleasant 2 weeks I ever had.
No, but honestly, I was expecting something really bad. You just sat down next to Christ.
Yeah, just waiting for the time, you see. I couldn't go straight back and say I didn't get the fish. I had to say, okay, well, there wasn't any, so I had to give it some time.
Honestly, that is not that bad, Grandma. Like the worst thing you've ever
Well,
done.
in those days it was, because you are not supposed to tell lies. And I disobeyed my grandmother, which I shouldn't have.
My next question was, where were your parents' families from?
My parents were born in St. Lucia, but my great-great-grandparents came from India. It was the time of the slavery, They were taking people from all over the other countries to bring them in St. Lucia, then to help in plantation. And they were planting the sugar cane at the time. Sugar cane to make rum, of course. They made rum with the sugar cane. So, and my parents were born there, as I said. So this generation from great grand came back. When they came to St. Lucia, they could not. They had a terrible life, so they couldn't live. Most of them died. But my great granddad was alive. And then he had my mom and so on. It passed from one generation to the other. And we know the story about it. So
Yeah. Do you remember any of the stories or songs your parents used to tell you?
yes, I remember. My dad would tell us stories about the devil. Always the devil done something. And my mom, quite the opposite of that.
Yeah.
She'd tell you stories about the Bible and about Christ, Virgin Mary, and all that. So every night, before we go to bed, he said, Dad, can you tell us a story? Of course, he says, but you have to do something for me too. Guess what it was? He would lie down flat on the bed, and we are kids. We are little, very little, about 8, 9 years or 7 years. He said, you have to walk over my body. That's to give him a massage.
Just 5 kids just walking on your back.
Walking over your back like this to massage your back.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the stories would go on and on until he's satisfied. He would add up to it, he'll make it up, doesn't matter what it was, just to keep us walking on his back. I remember this, yeah.
So how was rum used in the family?
Yes, again he made the rum punch. And rum actually was one of the stuff that was the cheapest to buy. And everybody could afford to buy a little bit, because you would have a bottle like this in the rum shop. They would you can buy half of it, you can buy a quarter of it. So if people don't have money to buy a lot of rum, they can buy half a bottle.
So it was more of a common drink.
A common drink, and one they could afford to buy. But they used it in everything.
Just like common day celebrations,
yes,
everything.
yes, at Christmas, even in funerals.
Oh.
People come to the funeral and they expect to see a bottle of rum on the table so they can have a drink.
I'm a little scared to ask this. What do you wish most for my future?
Oh, Cindy, I would wish you the best of everything. But most of all, what I do wish for you is to do things properly. Anything you do it well.
So what's one song or saying that means the most to you?
We had loads of different little songs. And I always like music. I like the music. Wherever a musical instrument was being played, I liked to hear it. And of course, the people would come and they'd sing in patois because they don't know English. We have patois because the French came and confused them. The English came with the English language. So the people decide they will make their own words, and which they made a language. And patois was not written, it's not a written language like English.
Yeah.
Patois was the first attempt to write a book, was in 2001. So in the 1900s, they started to think about it, but people could not write it down. The pronunciation is so different. The letters sound different, so they couldn't write it. But now you go to St. Lucia, you can find guides, right? Somebody has written some brochures, some books, and they can understand it better.
It's actually really nice. Like, when you first smell it, it's not, you don't really sense a really strong, off-putting taste. It's more,
Like a scented rum.
yeah, like it's really subtle, but it's nice at the same time.
Yeah.
And considering the fact that I don't drink alcohol a lot, I would say that this is actually really good. And yeah.
Cheers. Oh yes, we had spice rum as well. My dad used to do that again. He used to buy a big bottle of rum and he used to put some herbs in it. But the one I remember most was one called Shadowbeni. Now Shadowbeni, I just find out that Shadowbeni in English is coriander. And we put this into the white rum and lots of other herbs which he had, and he sort of hung it at the side of the house and stay out. He didn't put it inside, he put it outside.
Why did you put it outside?
He said, I don't know, for the weather or something. I'm not
Superstition.
sure. But when he was not feeling well, or someone in the family was feeling well, he would give you a drop of it. Drink that, you'll feel better. And you do feel better. Oh, the guap is the rum punch Pop did. Yeah, that's the guap. The one he put the honey, the lemon, and water, and rum, of course. This is what we call guap. That was the Patwa name he called it. So I'm not sure where he got that from, but it's a guap. Where we are living, people were very poor. We didn't have money. So everybody were family and friends go together. Now the only thing you would have is a bottle of rum. And when you ask them to help, they come to help in planting the garden, cutting the trees, doing anything around the house. So in the house, he would have a bottle of rum, and that would give them a shot or two, and they would do the work. So they help you out with that. And vice versa. Somebody else need help, you go and help. As long as you get your shot of rum.